Hey, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am doing a part two to the 10 things you got to know about dealing with a narcissistic parent, all right? Um, it was just a lot. I'm telling you, there's a lot. There's a lot. Part two, let's just go into it. If you haven't seen it, go watch part one. Shake it all out, and then come back over here to part two. We'll just watch part two. It don't matter. The information is still valid. Let's just get into it, right? So the first thing, the first thing you're gonna know about dealing with a narcissistic parent is that generally speaking, your other parent is probably going to be a codependent or a narcissistic individual. They are probably gonna, if they do the work, they can come into being a healthy individual, or they may be a healthy individual already. But the truth is, your other parent is probably a codependent. Okay? So you're going to witness them take a lot of abuse and a lot of nonsense that you shouldn't take. And this is going to program your mind into thinking that, yeah, this is what true love looks like. True love is sticking with a man who's cheating on you all the time, or sticking with a woman who's out here lying and cheating. Yeah, that's what love looks like. I'm going to repeat that in my relationships, right? The second thing that you'll deal with when dealing with a narcissistic parent is that if you have a codependent parent, you may wind up having to take the place of your narcissistic parent. What does that mean? So, I know personally from experience, not only myself, but also from other people. I knew someone who had a codependent mom, narcissistic dad. He upped and left, went, cheated on the mom, torpedoed the family, went and had a kid outside and everything. And this person had to quit school. They were a teenager, they quit school, they had to go work 2 jobs to help their mom pay off debt and, provide for the house and all this other stuff. And they basically had to take on the role of breadwinner along with the mother, right? For myself personally, I had to take on the role of being a confidant for my mom and an advisor and a friend and all this other stuff. And it got to the point in which, like, friendships outside were discouraged. And it was like, no. Your time has to be spent with me and all about me and all this other stuff, because she was really missing my narc dad. And she was missing having that connection with him and having him as a confidant, him as a friend. So I wound up having to take on that role. And I didn't like it. And when the opportunity came, I left that situation. I said, no. We got to change this dynamic. And it took years and work on both of our ends to change the dynamic. We're not like that anymore, thank God. But it was very much there. Oh, Lord. The third thing is you will deal with shame. Okay? You will personally deal with shame. Because you're going to see as you get older, whether you're a teenager and you're becoming an adult, or, you're dealing with, the adjustments. Remember, narcs don't care about stability. So they're going to say and do things that are going to torpedo your reality, and you're gonna feel ashamed by what they're doing. They're either out cheating on your other parent, or they're out here just living their life recklessly. They're putting either you in harm's way, or they just don't care about what you're going through. And you're gonna feel ashamed that you got to deal with this individual. You're gonna feel ashamed that you don't have a loving, healthy dynamic. You're gonna deal with that. The fourth thing is you will not have a true understanding of healthy relationship dynamics. Now, you can do the work, you can read the books, you can go to therapy, you can hire a relationship coach. I've done all 4. Okay? And yes, you can have healthy relationship dynamics. But remember, you got to do the work. It's not going to be automatically programmed. You didn't see that growing up, because you had a narcissistic parent or narcissistic parents, plural, that were unhealthy and showed an unhealthy way of being. They were lying, they were cheating, they were manipulating, they were degrading, devaluing, discarding. They were using you as a pawn to get to the other person, to hurt them. So in your mind, you think that's what love is. That love is pain. Love is about suffering through it. Nah, listen, love is work. It is. Love is forgiving when someone does a small infraction against you. I'm not talking about like big stuff, okay? Don't get it twisted. But love is work. But love is not about the pain and the suffering and the, oh, I'm going to stick through it no matter what. And hopefully this person's going to treat me right. Nah, man. That ain't what love is. But I guarantee you, if you look back at your narcissistic parent and how they related with the other parent and how they treated other significant others in their life, oh yeah, there was a lot of pain there, a lot of tears. I remember seeing my mom crying on the floor because my dad was doing some nonsense. She would punch the walls because it was hurting her. This was a man that she loved. This was the first man that she fell in love with. She married him and all the high school sweethearts, and he out here running around. He out here sneaking on the phone back in the day, calling other women behind her back. And she out here finding the phone bills in his coat pocket. That's what I saw love was growing up. So when I wound up with individuals like that, instead of saying, whoa, buddy, you out the door, now it's like, nah, I'm gonna stick with it. What? Man, I had to do so much work. And I still go to therapy. Okay? I ain't gonna lie. I'm still going to therapy. You know why? Because it's like going to physical therapy when you're learning how to walk. If you don't keep practicing it, you don't keep getting your mind cleaned out, guess what? The gunk is going to fill up in there. So, with that being said, the fifth thing that you're going to experience or may experience is if you have a codependent parent, they may blame you for them choosing to stay in a bad, unhealthy relationship with a narc. Let me say that again. They may blame you for why they chose to stay with the narc. I've been there. I've been there. I've seen it. I've seen these conversations happen. Yeah, I was with, Pablo and all this, and it didn't work out, but I stuck it with him. You know why? Because I had you, and I wanted you to have a 2-parent household. Now, that's not right. No, they stayed because they had low self-worth. They stayed because they were afraid of change. They stayed because it was just more comfortable. They stayed because they didn't have a support group of individuals out there ready to help them to heal up. And they stayed because they didn't believe that there was better out there. That's why they stayed. It wasn't because of you. It may have been a small portion of you because they wanted to hold that stability. But you gotta put the onus or the blame where it belongs. Don't let a codependent parent blame you for them staying in a bad situation or trying to make it work with a person who will never work with. That's a secondary consequence of having a narc parent. That's not exactly the fault of the narcissist. That's the fault of the codependent parent who's not looking to get healthy. All right. The sixth thing is that narcs will predict failure in your life. They'll predict it. Growing up, I would have, I was a kid, man. I didn't listen all the time. I didn't want to do my math homework all the time. I didn't want to do my spelling all the time. I didn't want to wash the dishes all the time. You know what my dad would tell me? The narc, you're going to grow up to be a criminal. People like you go to jail. You're never going to amount to anything in your life. How do you think I felt hearing that? 8 years old, 9 years old, 11 years old, 7 years old, 6 years old. Being told I'm going to be a criminal? I'm a bad person? What? You don't pump that BS into your kid's head. Listen, a lot of narc parents do that. I've seen it. Or they'll use, they'll predict your failure even as an adult. Like, what? Get out of here. Guaranteed you're going to grow up thinking that you're going to fail. Guaranteed you're going to grow up not wanting to achieve because it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to fail anyway. Ridiculous. Narcissistic parents, the seventh thing you got to know is that narcissistic parents will try to control your life. Whether it's through fear, embarrassment, if they're religious, they're going to use scripture, or they're going to use your religion against you, or they're going to use public opinion. They're going to say, oh, the family is talking about you, this, and that, in order for you to do their bidding. To live the life that they want you to live. Nothing else. They don't care about you as an individual or that you become the best you. Nah. They out here wanting just control. They get supply. They get a high off of that. Seeing you running scared. Like, okay, yes, daddy. Yes, mom. They don't. That makes them happy to manipulate. Number 8. Narcissistic parents, and this applies to them when they get older, right? When they're getting older, life is catching up to them. Because remember, payday ain't always on Saturday, but it's always direct deposit. Feel me? So, they're getting older. Life is catching up to them. Their dating pool is shrinking. Especially if they're not taking care of themselves. So they're going to do one or two things. They're either going to hide serious medical issues because they want to put on a front that everything is good and everything is great and, they're living the best life. Or they're going to escaberate. I think I said that right. If I didn't, please correct me. They're gonna heighten or blow out of proportion or try to force you to stop your life when they're going through medical problems. My dad, when he was diagnosed with cancer 5 years prior to him passing, he didn't tell nobody. He hid the results. He hid the medicines. He hid everything. He didn't go to appointments. He was just out here like, yeah, I'm living life. I'm doing great. I'm traveling. Oh, I met a new woman. She this, she that. This guy was dying from the inside out. And by the time it got to the point in which he was passing out, there was nothing anyone could do. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't get him into the best facility. I couldn't even get him enrolled in a cannabis program because the state that he was in had just legalized weed for medical purposes. I couldn't even get him in that. Literally. He was out like a light within 3 weeks of us finding out that the cancer had spread all over his body. Bones, organs, brain, liver, stomach, everything, blood. It was all over. All because he chose not to reveal that he had medical issues. Because he wanted to put on a front. Whereas I know another friend of mine, his dad, every time he gets sick, oh my God, I think this is the end. Dude, you got a head cold, relax. Oh, I guess y'all don't love me anyway. Bro, you got a head cold, relax. Relax. Right? But this is what they're going to do to get supply, to get you running after them, to get you chasing after them, to get you, wrapped up in what they doing. Number 9, narc parents never genuinely apologize for hurting you, for hurting the other parent, for breaking up your family. Because remember, they cheat. It's not about if or maybe. Nah, they cheat. They all cheat. And sooner or later, stuff comes up to light. What you do in the dark always comes to light. Always, always, always. Remember, payday ain't always Saturday. It's always direct deposit. So yeah, they're going to do things in your life that are going to hurt you big time. They're going to destroy your stability. They're going to destroy your self-worth. They're going to destroy your self-belief. You think they're ever going to apologize? Nope. even on their deathbed, they're not going to sit there and be like, "Dag, I messed up." Well, maybe, possibly, but that's like a 1% chance. And even then, it's usually not sincere. It's just if they see that you're not running to their bedside, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually do love you. am very proud of you. I actually knew you were going to be great." But that's because you're not over there holding their hand. They staring Grim Reaper in the face, and they staring the Grim Reaper in the face, and they don't have nobody else to turn to. Then they want to start having foxhole confessions. Then they want to sit out here talking about, "Oh, yeah, I messed up." It's not genuine. It's not. And lastly, narcissistic parents treat you differently in public than they do in private. And this starts out from when you're a kid all the way up to when you're an adult. In public, it's like, "Oh, sweetheart, come here." They may be doting on you. They may be like, "Oh, this is, in Spanish, we call it my life, mi vida. Ella es mi vida. She is my life. Ella es mi ella es mi niño, da 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 da." And then in private, they not really attending to your needs. They flipping off the handle, getting super angry at you for just being you, right? If you're an adolescent or a kid, they're over here beating, chasing you around the house with belts and hangers. But outside, it's like, "Oh no, I don't believe in hitting my child. I don't do corporal punishment." Like, bro, what? Sis, what? What? But yeah, in public, to get supply, to get people adoring them, to get people saying, "Wow, you a model parent. Oh my God, I want to be like you." They're going to treat you way differently. And when you're an adult, yeah, in public, it's like, "Oh yeah, this is my boy. That's my girl." Right? But then in private, they're putting you down. They're triangulating you. They're using you as a flying monkey. Okay? They manipulating, they controlling. They saying you ain't going to be like your sister or like your brother. And they doing that with your other siblings. All right? So anyway, question of the day. What did I miss in this video? Put it down in a comment. Talk about it. This needs to be discussed. Remember, a lot of us are dealing with generational trauma. This is stuff that's been going on in our families for generations. Now we have the ability to talk about it. Now we have the ability to shed light on it. Now we have the ability to heal up from it. And to prevent this from happening to our children, our offspring. I'm part of the millennial generation. Now we got Gen Z coming out here. We got Gen X. We've got boomers. We got all that. A lot of people are still alive. People are living longer. Okay? So listen, we're not going to do that whole, "You're a boomer, you're a Gen X." No. We're all on the same team here. We're all trying to heal up. Okay? Talk about it. Air it out. Put in the comments. And read the comments and see what other people are saying. I guarantee you, just like when it comes to having a narcissistic ex or someone you're intimate with, I guarantee you a lot of our stories are going to sound similar. And the road to healing is probably the same path. It's a narrow path. It's a hard path. It's a painful path, but it's a necessary path. All right? So listen, with that, in life, you're either going through it or you're growing through it. Hope this video helps you grow through it. Enjoy your day, y'all. Stay blessed.